from Flat Top Mountain here in southern West Virginia, this is the Allegheny Front Almanac. I'm docking this week as the winter settles in. We take a breath and listen closely to the land, the sky, and the subtle ways they shape our days. This is your almanac for the week of January 11th through the 17th. This was a quiet week on the mountain, but the good kind of quiet. The kind where nothing urgency breaks. Nothing dramatically demands attention. And the work you do feels like you're laying a foundation instead of putting out those fires. I spent the time in the just-in-time garden, laying out a new spiral garden. It's slow, thoughtful work. The best thing about spiral gardens is about their efficiency and the fact that they create microclimates, giving different plants exactly what they need in a small footprint. It's the kind of structure you build once, and it benefits you for many years. We also welcome in some baby silkies into the world this week. Tiny, little fluffy, loud little creatures. New life always finds a way to shift the energy of a place. I have to say, the barn does feel a bit brighter. I ran a few errands in the town this week. I ordered some seeds, but I definitely committed to a couple of new experiments for the years ahead. One of them is lovage. For folks who don't know, lovage is an old world perennial herb. Once common in kitchen gardens, but right now it's mostly forgotten. It looks a bit like oversized celery. And I'm told it smells very strong too. Every part of the plant is useful. The leaves, the stems, and even the root. It's hardy, long-lived, and it should come back every year once it's established. If all goes well, it should be another one of those Appalachian-friendly plants. Even if it doesn't start here, it's the kind of herb that grows when you're thinking about long-term. The weather's reminding us it's still January. We had super cold nights. Some of them down into the single digits. We've had some light dusting of snow. Just enough to kind of whiten the ground a bit and to quiet out the woods. The other exciting thing this week is I added one of my new off-grid experiments, my Meshtastic node. What Meshtastic is, it's a low-powered, long-range radio network. It lets small devices talk to each other without cell coverage, without the internet. Each node relays messages along the mesh, meaning the more nodes you have, the stronger the network becomes. It's just simple. It's resilient. And it's built for places like these. The mountains, the hollers, rural areas. Areas where there isn't a lot of infrastructure. It's not about fear or just for emergencies. It's about redundancy, a little bit of curiosity, a lot of resilience, and it's another layer of my preparation that I just weave into my everyday life. All in all, it was a week of planting, tending, and gently moving forward. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. Just the kind of steady work that makes everything possible later.
Lingering snow showers and gusty wind across the northern mountains will continue to gradually taper overnight, giving way to a dry start with a new work week amid building high pressure. Temperatures will moderate through Tuesday, with another cold front arriving midweek that could bring rain, then snow showers.
weather forecast for Flat Top for January 18th through the 24th. Weather has its own rhythm here on the ridge. Changes that arrive in increments. Instead of the big bangs, soft snow, the cold settles in. It just reminds us to bundle up. Here's what the week ahead holds for us here on Flat Top. On Sunday, January 18th, it's going to be a chilly day. High in the low 20s, mostly cloudy. Winds from the west-northwest, keeping it cold in place. Your classic midwinter feel. Kind of gray outside. That stone cold air. Monday, a slow rise in temperature. Clouds off and on with maybe a spell of sunshine. High near 25. Light flurries possible. Tuesday, January 20th. That similar feel continues. The high near the 20s with scattered clouds and a few flurries. Just a quiet winter's day. Soft snow, cold air, lots of clouds. Wednesday, January 21st. It should be a noticeable mild shift, sunny and breezy. The high should climb all the way up into the low 40s. A warmer start for midweek and a day where winter loosens its grip just a little bit. Thursday, January 22. Clouds return with snow showers around mainly in the morning. High near 34, winds from the west, keeping things moving. And that late coat of snow is going to slow down the rhythm a bit. Friday, January 23rd. Partly cloudy skies, the high near 39, calm. Makes it feel like winter. Maybe a little bit of a quiet thaw. Saturday, January 24th. Snow showers possible in the morning, with maybe up to an inch or so of snow. As long as that cold air holds. The high, maybe around 33, and that ridge, it just settles back in for winter. What does this mean? Well, the cold starts, and the snow chances are high earlier in the week. Soft, quiet snow. It won't pile up deep, but it won't just be a dusting. By midweek, a little bit of a milder stretch, warms up a bit. Good day to go catch and do your chores. And finally, by late week, snow showers return, reminding us it's still January and winter is still here. Up above us, the sun has been anything but quiet this week. So we start off with an enhanced solar wind stream has been moving past Earth at the speeds approaching 700 kilometers per second. With the interplanetary field, what we call the BZ complex, pointing south. The southwest orientation matters because it allows solar energy to be more easily coupled with Earth's magnetic field. In plain terms, the door is open a little wider than normal. Over the past few days, we've seen a minor G1 geomagnetic storm with conditions occasionally flirting with moderate G2 levels. With a new moon overhead, this setup also opens up the possibilities of visual auroras, especially up there in the higher altitudes, and maybe in the darker rural skies. But the big story came in on Sunday, January 18th. A strong X.19 solar flare erupted from the active region 4341 at 1808 Universal Standard Time. This flare was accompanied by a Type 2 radio emission clocking in around 693 kilometers per second and a prolonged 10 centimeter radio burst. That lasted more than 2 hours and peaked at roughly 3,200 solar flux units. Guys, that's not background noise. That's like the sun clearing its throat. The flare launched a coronal mass ejection with full halo signature, while the bulk of the plasma appears to be heading slightly east of Earth. The halo, the CMEs, almost always included in the Earth direction. Current tracking models suggest a likely interaction around January 20th, and NOAA is expecting to issue a geomagnetic storm watch at or above G3 levels once the final modeling is released. The proton levels have begun creeping up, and it is promoting a minor S1 radiation storm as we speak. Why does this matter? This isn't a doomsday signal, but it is a reminder that we don't live in a sealed system. A growing body of research in the heliobiology shows that geomagnetic activity can temporarily influence human physiology, especially the nervous system and the cardiovascular system. Because during peak periods like this, some people start reporting disrupted sleep, unusual fatigue, or maybe even that wired, tired feeling, heightened emotional or heightened irritability, difficult focusing. Guys, these efforts are generally subtle, temporary, especially for healthy individuals. But they're real enough to be noticed when the solar activity stacks up over several days. So be aware, if you feel this week restless at night, tired at odd hours, your emotions just a little closer to the surface. No, it's not your imagination. You're not alone. The key isn't fear, it's awareness. So, my advice this week is stay hydrated. Rest when your body asks. Ground yourself physically. That means touch the ground. Focus on your breathing. Slow it down a bit. Give yourself and others just a little extra patience. The sun is doing what the sun's doing. The earth is responding. And we, as always, are part of that conversation, whether we're paying attention to it or not. Folks around here haven't been feeling quite themselves this past week. Nothing dramatic, just that low, shared sense of being a little out of step. But Dad wasn't feeling too great the last few days. Maybe kind of the sickness that slows you down more than it knocks you flat. My mother, her knees have been hurting her, but she did learn she's going to need a knee replacement. Not a surprise exactly, but a move forward in the right direction. Lisa's headaches have been sneaking back around. As for me, I've just also been feeling really out of whack, tired during strange hours, low energy. Normally when I have that momentum, it's been a week of listening to my body instead of arguing with it. It seems like I've been saying a lot these last couple weeks. I don't think any of this is unusual for this point in the year. Late January has a way of, stretching people thin. The holidays are behind us. Winter has not loosened its grip yet. And while the light is returning, it's returning quite slowly. Though there should be a shift as we move towards the cross quarter, which is around February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. That's a meaningful turn for me. It's one I pay attention to. I do notice that the land starts to stir just a bit then. We're going to talk more about cross quarters, symbolic, in the coming weeks, because these are personal holidays that I celebrate. They're markers that I use to stay aligned with the natural rhythm instead of just our calendar alone. Another little update is Sean's situation has remained roughly the same. No big changes, just steady, still holding, and hopeful of good news. All in all, it feels like moments when the ridge is just asking for our patience. Not to worry, not to be urgent, just a little care, a little rest, and trust that the slow is turning us towards brighter days. So I want to start off that life is good. It's not perfect. It's not easy. But it's good. In the way that matters when you slow down enough to notice it. So this week reminds me that joy isn't optional. It's not something you earn after your work is done or your stress is past. Joy is the part of what keeps us moving forward when we feel heavy or uncertain. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important nor more powerful than love. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet kind that shows up in those ordinary moments. The kind that doesn't demand attention. The kind that's just present. So I'd like you to find ways to fall in love often. Fall in love with the sky, with the sound of the wind in the bare trees. Maybe you'll fall in love with the first small plant of spring, or life itself, the unfinished, imperfect, and still absolutely amazing things that happen every day. Love restores what stress and fear tries to wear down. It softens the edges. It reminds us when we tend to the land, when we care for people, and we pay attention to it all. Let it be small. Let it be frequent. And let it be enough. Weeks like this don't announce themselves loudly. They don't arrive on storms or breakthroughs. Instead, they ask something quieter of us. They ask us to pay attention, to stay in the present, and to trust the small, steady work matters just as much as the dramatic moments do. This was a week of laying foundations, of new lives and small arrivals, of noticing when our bodies and our minds need to rest instead of feeling that pressure. Now the land is still sleeping, but it's not idle. Those roots are still holding. The seeds, they're waiting. And the light, though slowly, is on its way back. As we move towards the cross quarter and that subtle shift that comes with it, remember that the season isn't asking you to rush. It's asking you to listen, to be careful, to be gentle, to fall in love again with your work, with the people around you, and with the life you are already living. Nothing here needs to be fixed in a hurry. Nothing needs to be forced. Just keep showing up. Keep tending to what is in front of you, and trust that the quiet weeks are doing their own kind of important work. Until next time, I'm Doc, here on the Allegheny Front. Live slowly, love deeply, and fear nothing.